Here we are.
EagleSong here with Thea Summer Deer, and we're on our way to the Gila Cliff Dwellings in New Mexico.
We are here in the canyons of the wild, wild west.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful day.
Perfect.
Still,
Perfect day.
quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hear that stream running behind us.
Yeah, some snow on the ground, and it's
Beautiful.
we've got this air that is rarefied.
Oh, that's a good word for it, rarefied. Indeed. Oh yeah, get your breath in.
All right, stay tuned. We're on the trail with Thea Summer Deer.
And EagleSong Gardener.
So EagleSong and I are at our next bench stop.
It's so nice here.
We are on the
They
bench.
have benches where we can sit down, It's quite good to be able to have a little respite here and there. It's a steep path we're on.
It is.
Going up. We're talking about nose breathing and how breathing through your nose keeps your blood oxygenated better. And that's been really helpful as we go up, up, up. We're over a mile high here to begin
Yeah,
with.
look at all the snow. Isn't it beautiful? This is where we are on the trail. And you were telling me about a book.
Yeah, I was wanting to tell you about this. One of these, this reminds me, we're on our way to the Cliff Dwellings where peoples who had been here long before us built a beautiful village. So we're going to go see that village. And there's a book called The Walking People. Oh, the woman author's name, Underwood, is her last name, I believe. I can't remember her first name. And there are two walking peoples out there, so you have to be careful to get the right one. And Paula Underwood, that's her name. And The Walking People is the oral history of the Oneida people walking from Asia to New York.
Wow. Whoa.
It's 842 pages, the book. It's written, the whole book is written in the linguistic rhythm of oral storytelling because her father gave her the book. He started giving it to her when she was just a young child. He tested to see if she had the capacity to hold the whole story when she was just a kid. And when he realized that she could, he just started to give her the book. The Walking People is what she calls it. But it's the book, it's the first written down history of the oral tradition of the Oneida people. And it's, if I had a Bible, The Walking People would be my Bible.
Oh, how cool. Well, I will look that one up. And of course, it's 852
42,
pages.
just not as bad as you thought.
842 pages, not as bad as I thought. Because I'm sure that there were a lot more steps
It's
than
written,
that to get from.
But it's so beautiful because it's like poetry on the page. It's not like a book where it goes from one side to the other. It's actually really beautiful, and the imagery is exquisite. And because it crosses 10,000 years, I mean, to smush 10,000 years into 842 pages is quite a undertaking, but it's quite pertinent to today. I think people will find a lot of story in there that will guide them in the choices that will guide you in the choices you're making in your own life.
Okay.
The Walking People by Paula Underwood.
Check it out.
Stop number 2.
We are walking people today.
I know, right now we're
gonna
walking
walk,
people.
and where
That's
we're
right.
going
And we're going up to a
is
place
up there, which I would have to turn around to show you
right.
where we're going. Let me see if I can show you. Is to that cliff dwelling right up there.
Oh, look at
Right
that.
there.
That's like a bedroom.
All right, we'll see you at the next
Bench. Oh, we could call these
Wait,
benchmarks.
I'm going to take a picture of you at the on the bench.
Okay, here's our bench.
This is our benchmark.
And these benches are placed really great. So here we go.
All right. All right, so here we are at our next benchmark. May I join you?
Oh, please come have a seat here. We're at a really beautiful bend in the creek, so to speak, in this little canyon with the water running down and icicles on the edge of the canyon here. Really
It's chilly right in this spot.
it's in the shade. There's a chilliness to it. It's true, but it's still a little above freezing at this point.
And we were talking about how many people lived in this dwelling, the
right.
Gila Cliff Dwellings, between 30 and 40 people, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what the man said. The ranger was about 30 to 40 people in the dwelling.
So we're walking through the area that sustained that group of people, and we were talking about how that was dependent on how much this land could feed.
The food determined how many people, and one of the things that I'm always fascinated with is the elder women knew how much resource, food-wise, any given ecosystem could provide to the people, and they basically determined, they were the people that would be counseled with to determine whether or not it was a good idea to bring another soul into the world. And
Wow.
so there was a certain kind of birth control in the sense that to prevent starvation or deprivation, managing the population to fit the landscape was so important. It's a heritage thing that we've lost, and I think it's still something that we should think about in our food, if you will, sovereignty on the planet.
Wow. All right, here we are, our next benchmark. This is the next benchmark.
It's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a breeze now, a soft breeze that's blowing through, but we're getting higher with every step. We go up more, and we've seen the dwellings now. We've seen the pictures of the dwellings in the distance. So our objective is ahead, and we can see it.
And we were talking about how old the culture was that lived here, that they dated the caves to pre-Mogollon, before they actually built what we're going to see when we get up there, and we'll show you that. But before that, they had smoke on the ceilings of the caves that they dated to the pre-Mogollon. And then the people that lived there that built what we're going to see were, what, about 1,200?
Around 1,200, the Mogollon people, right.
Yeah.
And it's a small group, like we said earlier, which is interesting to me, 40 to 60, 30 to 40, somewhere in there. The man speculated, as do people who study these things, that perhaps there was a turn in the climate that caused larger groups of people to separate and find small dwellings that they could take refuge in and keep small groups of people alive until things got better in the climate and they could go back to where they were growing food. But nobody really knows.
It's not called Great Mystery for nothing. We're going to talk about first.
Oh,
You just confessed that this is your first cliff dwelling.
It's true. I've not ever been in a cliff dwelling. And so this is quite exciting for me, hiking up this. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I was saying this is what keeps me alive, getting out, getting to see new things. There's all kinds of plants here that I can't tell you what they are because I don't know yet. But I can really enjoy just the bigness, the vastness, and the imagining. We were talking about that our little hoofs are coming up this trail that people 1,000 years ago, 1,200 years ago, they came up the same trail. And
barefoot.
Barefoot, right? We are not today barefoot. But probably if we were, we'd be a lot stronger.
This keeps me young too.
Yeah.
This is a good elder plan right here.
And this is the elder plan. So remember, we're practicing chronic health now, chronic well-being, and looking for what's right about the world. Because I think that's a medicine that would be valuable to many of us at this point in time. And, you know, I'm 73, and I want to know what's right about the world. We've spent too much time looking at what's wrong. And how are we going to stay lively and engaged,
Vibrant,
and be curious and wonder?
Oh. Okay, so here we are at the entrance to the cliff dwellings. This will be our last. It may not be our last benchmark, but this is the last.
We've made it. We've made the benchmark of arrival.
Yes.
We've arrived at the cliff dwellings, but we haven't gone inside yet.
But you were talking about what it is that you do. You're the wanderer,
Rambling. I love rambling. And when I've taken many trips to England, and I love the term they use for people. They don't use hiking. Hiking has sort of a. They say ramble. You go on rambles. So I do rambles and enjoy taking time. A ramble includes taking time to stop and look at things and really take the area in. And hiking is an objective thing. You're trying to get somewhere. And
We've
but
definitely-
rambling is different.
We've definitely been rambling.
Oh, totally. We've taken a long time
In more ways
to
than
get up here. But
one.
look at that. We aren't winded. There's no problem. We're very eager to continue. So learning to go the speed that's right for you. I mean, you know, one of my totem animals is the sloth. Because,
right?
yeah, sloths are
But
millions.
you were not a slow mover.
Well, it depends. I mean, it just depends
Her
on what.
mind moves fast. Let's just put it that way.
But the sloth has lived through millions of years, and it's always found a niche. So that's what I say when people are slow and we get angry or upset because they're so slow and they can't get up to speed, so to speak, that just remember the sloth.
Take your time.
That's right. Take
You don't
your
want to
time.
miss it. Yeah.
And
Don't
I
miss it.
can't tell you. Actually, maybe you can turn the camera around and show people the front view of this cliff dwelling. We're south-facing cave, an amazing resource for people to find a place that's naturally solar heated in the middle of winter. We're here in February. It's a nice echo here.
So that's where we're going to go up into right now. So stay tuned.
They were here, and the reason we know that, the oldest wooden beam,
Yeah.
that is still original, that in there was cut in 1276.
It's so amazing they can date it like that.
Yeah, so that was through three-ring dating or dendrochronology. And the youngest is from 1287. So in 11 years they built all this. Now we know by the year 1300 they left. And so that means they only stayed here for 25 years.
Right.
Now, the mystery is not so much why they left, the mystery is much more why they moved in the first place. Because think about it, the Mogollon had lived in the Southwest for 1,000 years,
Oh, wow.
but on the plains. So between northern Mexico, southern New Mexico, Arizona, in this area, for 1,000 years dealing with heat and drought, famine, disease, conflict, what have you, and they did well. But in the 13th century, for the first time ever, they moved into a cave. Not just the Mogollon, there is 4,000 cliff dwellings in the Southwest. And
Whoa.
all of them were occupied in the 13th century for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but no more than that, by people that had never lived in caves.
Wow.
And then all of them left after that, back on the plains, never to go back in caves again. So, and to make things even more complicated, the time period 1275 to 1300 coincides with one of the worst droughts that the Southwest has ever had. But these people, for 1,000 years, had dealt with droughts, right? And if you try to deal with a drought, you move to water. You don't move in a cave, right? Because the water is 200 feet down, so this is not convenient living. Right?
Exactly
It's
right.
beautiful.
But at least there was water.
But the water, I mean, they could have lived a half a mile east of here, and they had nice flat land right next to the water, places to store food, everything. They could have farmed there. No, they chose to live in the caves.
So it's a mystery.
It's a good mystery.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing of good mystery, so, but we
Indeed.
don't know.
So EagleSong,
Hey,
what are we doing?
I don't know. We're on our way down. We're hungry, and it's down here from here. I'm noticing we both have really red cheeks and faces. The sun is bright up here.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the same spot in front of this
Beautiful tree.
Beautiful tree, and we're going to kind of close our journey with you here because we're going to head down, and when we get to the bottom, then we're going to the hot springs.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, maybe we need to make a post from there.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think the women would like to see the hot springs?
I think they would.
Well, then we'll see you down the road.
All right.
I could conquer anything. I could fly with wings of silver. I could whisper, I could sing. Will you take me to the mountains before another summer ends? We could catch the outbound zephyr. We can travel like the wind. When I moved out to the desert. Colorado